Boruto Uzumaki has made his choice. He is alone, he is wounded, he is outmatched, and he stands against the greatest threat that the shinobi world has ever seen, knowing full well he cannot win. Not like this. Every strategy, every jutsu, every drop of courage, it is crushed under the weight of an enemy who hasn't even begun to take him seriously. Jura isn't just stronger, he's patient, he is surgical. He is hunting Boruto with a godlike calmness to him. And so there's only one path left for Boruto, one that Boruto wants to avoid, a path that is laced with dread, the very real fear of losing himself. The power of Momoshiki Otsutsuki being unleashed is inevitable. This is the terrifying truth going into Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 23. Boruto might have no choice but to use Momoshiki's power to survive, but doing so might cost him more than just his life. It might cost him his very soul. Also, as a quick reminder, the chapter review is delayed this month due to us literally getting the raw scans the day of the official release, but the chapter review editor has been working since the night of the 20th, and we are aiming for the 22nd to upload, so I thank you for your patience and understanding for the review. So Boruto's heroic failures, where we have to start with this video. So in chapter 22, Boruto makes the decision that defines the very heart of who he is. With his friends and his allies vulnerable, and knowing what Jura is capable of, Boruto chooses to fight alone so that they can escape. It is a very heroic moment, but also a very foolish one, because Jura, he's not anything like Code. He's just built different. He's not even like Momoshiki. Jura is quite literally a different animal altogether, a being shaped by the Ten Tails itself, because he is the Ten Tails incarnated with both Code's chakra as well as the Shibai cells. He is not driven by ego per se, but instead he is driven by both an instinctual supremacy as well as a growing intellectual curiosity, and he has rightfully targeted Boruto as being someone who could be the key to Jura's downfall. And worst of all, Jura hasn't even been fighting Boruto seriously. Not yet. Boruto has pulled out every trick that he knows. Instant teleportation via flying raijin, all these sneak attacks, chakra manipulation, tactics that he's refined under the guidance of Kashin Koji's training, learning from hundreds of versions of himself across multiple timelines via 10 directions, but the result is all the same. As Kashin Koji said, failure. Jura has shrugged off attack after attack, and he is seemingly continuing to walk towards that inevitable moment where Boruto falls. Even with the legendary flying raijin, Boruto can't keep up. Not because his technique is weak, it is flawed, and it is because it is flawed that Boruto's mastery, for as impressive as it is that he knows the jutsu, it is shallow. His mind, it races to calculate space and distance. He has to lock in on specific targets to teleport to with high concentration. The moment that he hesitates against someone like Jura, where he has to take moments to think about which markers to teleport to, a fraction of a second is going to mean death. He isn't as skilled as his grandfather Minato, who could teleport instinctually. Boruto has flaws. Kashin Koji's warning is what we also have to look at here. Kashin Koji basically said, you're trying to replicate techniques that took some versions of yourself up to 6 years to master. You don't have 6 seconds in a battle with Jura. You are not going to be granted that luxury. For as much as you've learned, you still have a long way to go. That's why Koji was telling Boruto stay on the sideline. Kashin Koji's assessment, it is brutal, but it is accurate. Boruto has learned too much too fast, even for a genius like himself. In a way, Kashin Koji was the perfect person to train someone like Boruto, who learns jutsu extremely fast, but as we saw with Sasuke's next to last conversation with Boruto, he still needed to train, to refine the different jutsu that Sasuke taught him, which implies that Boruto's main weakness in Boruto Part 1 still applies. He learns jutsu very fast, but there are still areas where he has to refine because he's so talented at figuring out shortcuts to master jutsu that in some cases he still doesn't have the basics. He has a tool set that is so vast it's actually a curse. You could argue to an extent it overwhelms him. Each new jutsu that he learns, it demands immense concentration and precision. And in a live or die fight against a monster like Jura, there's no room for error here. There's a reason why every version of Boruto has fallen in every timeline except for one that Kashin Koji saw, a timeline that Koji's trying to create. Even something as basic as long-range teleportation, something that his grandfather Minato could do with ease, is beyond him at this moment. The chakra cost and the mental strain is too high for Boruto. He can't retreat. He is trapped there on that section of the battlefield. This ultimately brings us to the monster inside. Momoshiki is basically in there saying, "You're going to die here, boy. Let me take over." You know that Momoshiki is gaslighting. Even if Boruto can't hear him, he is secretly biding his time. Boruto said that Momoshiki went quiet. Imagine Boruto freaking out once Momoshiki starts to speak yet again, after never saying anything for the last 2 years. This is where that nightmare truly begins, because Boruto's only option, it is him, Momoshiki, the alien parasite, the invader who wants to suppress Boruto's soul and claim his body for good. Even though Momoshiki can't resurrect using Boruto's body, he can hijack it, and he has vowed the next time he hijacks his body, Boruto's not getting control again. Just attempting to use the coma seal was enough that Boruto described the feeling like feeling his body dying, and Boruto's scared to use coma for that reason. The very being that Boruto has spent years trying to resist might be his only salvation. Boruto might be in a situation where Momoshiki offers what Boruto doesn't have in this moment: control, power, efficiency, thousands of years of battle experience, a deep, terrifying familiarity with the jutsu that Boruto struggled to perform because they share a body, they share a mind. We saw it firsthand how Momoshiki took that compression Rasengan, said, "I'm not going to damage the arm of my vessel, so I'm going to modify it," and that's how we got the Rasengan, the Rasen bullet. Momoshiki can improve every jutsu that Boruto's learned, from flying raijin to the Uzuhiko. And when it comes to chakra, there's an ocean of chakra there because Momoshiki has a large chakra pool as an Otsutsuki. When Momoshiki takes over, it's not just a simple power boost, it is a total transformation. Suddenly, every jutsu that Boruto's been taught is going to flow like second nature. Flying raijin, it's going to be instantaneous now, even long distance. Rasengan, that's basically a nuke here. Rasengan Uzuhiko, God knows what Momoshiki could do with something like that. Time and distance, it becomes irrelevant. When you take Boruto, whose power level is already this high in base, and now you add Momoshiki's chakra on top of that, that is a monster. And against Jura, that might be his only way to survive, but at what cost? This is truly Boruto's curse. This is why Boruto wanted Kawaki to kill him if Momoshiki ever took over. Boruto made a vow, not just to Kawaki, not just to Konoha, but to himself, that he would never allow Momoshiki to take full control again, even though he knows it's a possibility and he's built in a failsafe for Kawaki to kill him if that happens, because every time that he does, he's getting closer and closer to disappearing. It's at the point now, just using karma is enough for Momoshiki to say switch. The more that he uses Momoshiki's power, the more that his identity is eroding. As Kawaki said and Boruto didn't argue against, he's in a worse situation than he was before. It's a slow decay of himself, like water eroding a stone. Yet now he faces a situation where the only alternative could very well be death. Sarada and Mitsuki, Konohamaru, his friends, they can't save him. Teleporting to them would only put them in danger. As Kashin Koji said, there's no reinforcements coming. There's no last minute miracle, at least as of what we could see. Maybe Kawaki shows up, he's got the Karma Seal, he and Boruto resonate, maybe Kawaki has his limiters removed and he's able to just instantly teleport there. That is possible, but right now it doesn't seem likely. We can only speculate that it will happen. Boruto, as we see him in this moment, he is cornered, he is outmatched, he is overwhelmed, and with no other option, he might have to make the call. Let the devil in. And this is where it gets interesting. Momoshiki's triumph and Boruto's dilemma. The moment that Momoshiki takes over, make no mistake, it's going to be a tide shift. Precision replaces hesitation. Power replaces fear. The jutsu that took Boruto months to even understand, in some cases even years to understand, they're going to be executed at a level far beyond his comprehension. Momoshiki doesn't just use Boruto's tools, he refines them, he enhances them, he twists them. You could even argue and say that he perverts them. This is no longer a battle of survival. It's going to become a demonstration of what Boruto could be, what he will become, because we know at the end of the day, when Boruto versus Kawaki happens inside of Konoha, Boruto seemingly has control of his coma seal. But in order to get to that moment, Boruto's gonna have to give up everything that he was in order to fully understand it. Momoshiki using the jutsu in a more efficient way, Boruto's going to be aware of what Momoshiki's doing. It's a two-way street, and that's the true horror there, because Jura will now have a fight that would seemingly be worth his attention. He's excited fighting Boruto, but imagine what happens when he gets to fight Momoshiki. Only Boruto, when he gives up control, can he give Jura somebody who is worthy of acknowledging him. This is in so many ways a Sukuna and Gojo moment, no spoilers, but the irony in this moment, it is sure to split you in half. It is sure to be something that is crushing when it happens. And that's why this is the price of survival. This is why this is such a good set of conflict. As we move into chapter 23, we're not asking if Boruto will let Momoshiki take over. We're asking how much of Boruto will be left behind afterwards, because he's using a lot of chakra right now. And as we know, when Boruto's chakra hits a certain point, Momoshiki can hijack. He will survive, probably, but he might lose something in the process, a potential piece of his soul, a thread of his humanity, in the fear that next time, Momoshiki might not be able to be suppressed. This is a terrible situation for Boruto, almost like a fork in the road, power or self, victory or soul, life or death. Sometimes to protect everyone, you have to become the very thing that you fear the most. This is something that Sasuke understood. This is something that even Naruto had to learn in Naruto's manga. Whether or not Momoshiki takes over permanently, obviously that's not going to happen, but it's a question we have to ask ourselves, as well as, will Boruto be able to survive Jura, or will he lose everything? While you think that over, obviously subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Stay sharp, Shinobi, and click here on the left to check out more videos from Naruto Explained. Click here up top to check out videos from my One Piece channel, and click here on the right to check out videos from my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content.